Lads, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. AJ's been knocked out by Daniel Dubois in round 5 of the fight in Wembley in front of 96,000 people. Daniel Dubois knocks out Anthony Joshua in round 5, and that was the third knockdown of the fight, and that one AJ was just not coming back from. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I said I could see Dubois winning the fight, but for it to go like that was unbelievable for me. I don't know what to say, man. Everyone knows AJ is my favourite fighter, but what have I just watched? Because we all thought this is Anthony Joshua. He's coming back to form. He's that killer again. But I don't know, there was something off tonight. I was watching a fight with my mum, and we're looking at the two, and obviously I'm hyped up for the fight. But when they're in the ring, well, it's been announced just before the fight. The fighters and where they come from, the national anthems, all that. I said to my mum, I said, "Do you think AJ looks confident?" She goes, "I don't know why. He looks a little bit nervous. He looks a little bit scared." And I said, "That's exactly what I'm thinking. He looked nervous and scared in the ring before the fight." And then when he got in the ring, straight away I said, "What's going on with his stance?" Because his stance, I don't know, he looked like, when you see someone that's got barely any boxing experience and then they're just scared and they're standing back and they're just sort of lunging. They're not in a good, strong stance. It just felt like that. And Dubois just came straight away with no fear and started throwing his shots. And I can't fathom what Ben Davison was saying to AJ between rounds, because he got knocked down in the first round, and that all came because there's a stupid lapse in concentration. Why did AJ for the whole fight have his hands down by his chest and even lower? You've got to have your hands by your head. You're a heavyweight. You're not gonna move like Floyd Mayweather or someone like that. You're not gonna move like a Tank even Tank, people like that, they fight with their hands up. You're not Prince Nassim Ahmed. You're a heavyweight. You're not going to be able to move around, and your head movement's not that quick, and it won't be that quick when you're that heavy. So the fact that he had his hands that low through the entire fight, even after getting knocked down multiple times, every time he'd throw a jab, the jab would literally come back to his chest and his belly. It wouldn't go to his head. And that's why I just felt every time Dubois even stuck his hand out for a meaningless shot, it would catch AJ on the head. It would catch him on the nose. And AJ landed a few nice jabs, but what was the issue? What was coming back? He couldn't take it. Because why? His hands were down by his chest. What is the point when you've got your hands down by your chest? What are you expecting? It's heavyweight division. Dubois is a flipping... He's a train. He's a juggernaut. He's going to smash you to pieces. If you have your hands down like that, especially off the form Dubois is in, what was he thinking, keeping his hands down? And there was something about his legs just looked... Was he drunk during the fight? Because his legs were gone. He didn't look confident. He wasn't in a good stance. His hands were down, and he kept talking. He kept sticking his tongue out and beating his chest, but he was losing the fight. He lost every round, and he was getting smashed from pillar to post for most of that fight. And in that 5th round, you felt, oh, he's back in it, because he landed a big right hand, and he got Dubois, in a little bit of an uncomfortable position. Dubois was wobbling and shaking, but what happened? AJ again. He had his guard down and he was clueless. He was just rash, and he got hit with one. He got hit with a right hook, I think it was. And when he went down that time, there was no way coming back. I mean, he slipped two or three times in the fight. He got dropped twice before the knockdown, and the knockdown, he was absolutely gone. I don't know what the game plan was there, because if you're trying to box him, you've got to do it confidently. You've got to have your hands up, and you've got to be staying long with your jab. But AJ wasn't doing that. He was sort of very tentative with his footwork. His stance was very close together, and it looked like he was a crab, just feeling out. There was nothing. It wasn't a strong stance. He didn't have his jab out properly. I mean, he threw nice jabs, as I said. But what's the point of throwing nice jabs if you haven't got your feet in a good position? If you haven't got your hands back to defend, what is the point in throwing a jab? Because you're going to hit one and he's going to hit you with one even harder because you got your hands down. He's got his hands up so he can block it, he can get in the way and throw that shot back, and then you've got nothing to stop yourself because you're not going to have the head movement of a lightweight. It's not happening at heavyweight. Usyk, fine. You're not Alexander Usyk. I'm heartbroken because I thought we were finally going to have a return of AJ, and he was looking really good against Ngannou, against Wallin. He got a brilliant knockout against Helenius. His boxing performance looked disciplined against Jermaine Franklin. And all of those 4 fights, everything went out the window today. Fair play to Daniel Dubois. In a fight like this, he just looks so confident. Again, me and my mum said he looks really, really confident, while AJ was looking nervous. And I was like, why is AJ so nervous? Look, Dubois can be confident. He's got nothing to lose. Fair enough. You should be confident. I know you've got the belt, but at the end of the day, you're a massive, underwhelming underdog for this fight. So you've got nothing to lose. Go out there and put your best show. He's got nothing to fear. But AJ, he just looked like he was nervous, scared, and he was bricking himself, it looked like. I'm heartbroken because I don't know where AJ goes from this now. That's his 4th loss. And we were just dreaming about getting the Fury and AJ fight after Usyk and Fury 2. You're thinking about, does AJ get a chance at Undisputed? But none of that can happen now because he's lost his fight. And I think it was Todd Gresham, I forgot his name, to be honest, but I think he said the clock strikes midnight on Anthony Joshua's career. And I'm thinking, has it struck midnight on Anthony Joshua's career? I'm heartbroken because I was expecting so much from AJ. He's my favourite fighter. He's the one that brought me into boxing. Watching him as a little kid was fascinating because he'd just go there and knock people's heads off their bodies. But I don't know what has happened. Ever since that Ruiz fight, we came back, beat Ruiz, but even then in the next few fights he wasn't as confident. And then he lost to Usyk, lost his head, and then you thought he's gone again. That Jermaine Franklin, I thought it was a good disciplined boxing performance, but everyone was obviously thinking at the time, that's a poor performance, couldn't knock him out, didn't really damage him much. But he was skeptical. He wasn't dangerous like he used to be. And in the last 2 fights, he did look dangerous. But Otto Wallin, he's sparred AJ a million times. AJ knows the game plan to beat Otto Wallin. Francis Ngannou, though he had a brilliant night in the ring with Tyson Fury, that was probably just a one-off, a 1 out of 10. Like a chance of it happening is 1 out of 10, and he's not a good boxer. AJ dealt with him. Again, at the time, we thought, wow, AJ's just absolutely manhandled 2 guys that Fury struggled with. But looking back on it, was it really, or was it handpicked for AJ? Was it cherry-picked for AJ? I don't think it was. I think there were good fights at the time, for the rebuild especially. But in a fight like this, you cannot perform the way Joshua did. His legs looked gone straight away. After he got hit with a few shots, his legs looked gone. Not only did his legs look gone, his hands weren't up. And I'm going to keep saying that. It's literally one of the first things. It is probably the first thing you learn when you're learning boxing. Keep your hands up. And for some reason, he did not know how to do that. And I don't know what Ben Davison was doing, not telling him to put his hands up after he's clearly getting battered. Surely you've got to just realise, mate, stick your hands up. After the first round, that's when you got to say stick your hands up and just try and see out the round, see out the next 2 rounds, because you've been knocked down once. It's the first round. Your legs look like jelly. You've got to just regroup. In 2 rounds, you've got to just defend and tuck in and move and use your jab. But AJ didn't keep Dubois away. Dubois, we know, I said this as well. I was saying this. Dubois gets hit and he keeps coming forward. He keeps coming forward. I really, really like Dubois. I remember towards the start of his career, even after that Joe Joyce loss, I always really liked Dubois. And I always thought he's going to be, after AJ's gone, I thought Dubois is going to be the heavyweight that I like the most. But obviously, when it's a fight against AJ, obviously I'm going to want Dubois to get battered. But Dubois has showed why he's the future of British heavyweight boxing. And AJ, where does he go from here? Probably, you know what I think you got to do now? If you're going to fight again, Wilder's your fight. I'm disappointed in AJ. I'm really disappointed. Guys, let me know what you think. I'm going to go and cry for a little bit. I'm joking. I won't cry, but I'm going to go and rethink my life for a little bit. Well done, Dubois.